How are you? Hi, this is Mike Conley. I'm the Reading cross country coach, and I am actually going into my, believe it or not, my 20th season of coaching the boys and girls program at Reading High School. Definitely very excited for the start of the 2022 season. And what I'm going to try to cover in about 15 minutes is just some basics and some key information of the season. So for parents that are looking for some more information about meets and practices and schedules and how things operate with the cross country program, I'm hoping this 14 to 15 minute video provides you with that information. This is the agenda that I'm going to cover. I'm just going to try to walk through these 10 agenda items, and then hopefully at the end of the video everyone's kind of well aware of what's going to be happening throughout the 2022 season. So first item on the agenda, I'm happy to report that this will essentially look like a pretty typical normal season as things are beginning to kind of normalize after the COVID-19 pandemic. Certainly, as we all know, COVID-19 virus is still with us. But the only health and safety protocols that I'm aware of that still exist, that will exist, is that obviously if you do have get the COVID-19 virus, you obviously need to stay home for at least 5 days until you're symptom free. And then at the conclusion of those 5 days, I still believe from day 6 to day 10, you do need to wear a mask, at least indoors. And then I would just follow the Reading High School nurse and protocols for mask wearing when you're returning from the COVID-19 virus. So those are the only protocols that I believe are in place. And you should, if you test positive, you should report that obviously to myself and then to the nurse in the school, so they have that information. In terms of our team guidelines, we essentially are a non-cut sport here at Reading Memorial High School. We do, obviously, just like any other sport activity at Reading High School, at the high school level, the student athletes are expected to come to practice each and every day and commit to the season. So these are the team guidelines that we do publicize. So, some of the few things that I'll stress is obviously just like any other activity, we do expect the student athletes to commit and get here each and every day. If they're not going to be here, the expectation is that they communicate any conflict to the coaches well in advance when possible. They can do that through an email. They can do that just by letting me know word of mouth at practice. It's probably the preferred method. I do encourage the student athletes to do that on their own and to kind of build their communication skills. But if I get emails from parents or it's kind of breaking down, here's our conflicts for the season, this is why, and it's doctor's appointments, athletic or family type obligations are okay. If it's my son or daughter does guitar lessons every Tuesday or works every Thursday and Friday, so they'll only be able to attend practice 3 to 4 days a week, 5 days a week, that is most likely going to be an issue. We got a little bit flexible with that during the COVID years. But generally, you do need to be at practice. It is a team sport, and I'm stressing to the student athletes a lot this year that there's obviously a lot of individual aspects of the sport, but it's not the typical team sport, but we are on a team. And you do, number one, your first obligation is to get yourself to practice. You got to commit, you got to put in the time and the effort, and obviously respect coaches, captains, teammates, competitors. And I also say the sport at all times as the athletes learn more about it. So communication, commitment is key. Obviously, they must follow the prescribed workouts. We'll be doing a lot of different workouts throughout the season. We'll be going outside the high school fields and complex and running on the roads through town. We'll obviously be in the town forest. That's where we compete on our home meets. We will also be on the track when it's ready and on the fields around the high school and on the hills in back of the high school and next to the high school. So we'll be doing a lot of different workouts, and athletes must follow the workout as prescribed by the coaches and in the workout sheets. Essentially, band, drama, and other clubs and activities, I do certainly work with those types of conflicts. We have had student athletes that are in band. They may have to miss a majority of maybe Saturday morning practices, or leave early for Saturday morning practices, or miss a weekend here and there. And generally, that's not an issue as long as I know the schedule in advance. If there are other clubs and after-school activities, the literacy club or the magazine club that might meet every Wednesday and for 30 minutes after school, and it might mean those athletes coming at 3:45 on every other Wednesday or to that effect when we start at 3:30. We generally work with those types of commitments if it's a program, another extracurricular activity program with Reading Memorial High School. So communication is key, and that's what we ask for. So that's really the key thing. Is just commit. It's a 6-day-a-week commitment. That if you're an incoming freshman, that may seem like a lot because you might be used to 2 days, 3 days, 4 days a week. At the middle school level, at the high school level, it's Monday through Friday after school. It's Saturdays. It's weekend events, and any other sport, junior varsity or varsity level, which is what you are when you're on the cross country team, would expect that you need to be there. And there's conflicts that are going to arise because of doctors, dentist appointments, after school academics, projects, a family commitment here and there. Just let us know, and we will work with that. But cross country does need to be kind of up there in your list of priorities for the season. So that's kind of our guidelines and expectations. In terms of our practice schedule, this is typically when we practice Monday through Friday, 3:30 p.m. through 5:15 p.m. We would typically meet on the RMHS track. We're going to be at kind of the Morton, Moscarello, baseball field, the batting cage, water fountain area until September 23rd, 24th when the track is ready. But we typically, on average, need about an hour and 45 minutes for practice. That might be an hour and a half some days based on the workout. It might be closer to 2 hours some days based on the workout. But this is more on average. It's a 3:30 to 5:15 schedule. But I will say, for those parents that are new, it's not like 5:15 on the button, we're ending. There's about a 10 or 15 minute flex window any given day. The day before a meet, on a Monday, for instance, we might be wrapping up 4:45, 4:50 because we're not doing a lot of conditioning that day. We typically have workout Thursdays, and that day may go a little bit longer, given the fact that we're doing more of an advanced type of workout. Saturday mornings, we will typically either be in the town forest, and I will make this clear ahead of time, or we'll be on the track. Most likely we're in the town forest doing a town forest workout, prepping for getting comfortable with our home course. And on Sunday, there will be no practice. There's no requirement to run on Sundays, even though I might occasionally recommend veterans or varsity or some folks do some type of a workout on Sunday. And I will make that clear during the team meetings that week throughout practice. So here's the race information. So we compete in the Middlesex League. This year it's going to be boys running first, followed by girls. That alternates every other year. This might be a typical schedule, although I will say this is not the guaranteed schedule. But generally around 4 o'clock is the target start time on our home course, because our course is kind of a 3-loop course. If time allows, I will generally start the junior varsity boys first. Given that the boys team tends to be a little bit larger, they would run at 4 o'clock. That race would complete itself or close to complete itself, and then the varsity boys would start on about 4:30. Again, that race would close to complete itself, and then the girls, given the size of the team, will most likely be one race, and that would start on or about 5 o'clock, with the racing being wrapped up by 5:30, with cool downs and post meetings we're kind of done by 6 p.m. on a meet day. So a meet day is about longer. It's about a 2.5 hour commitment. When we have a home meet, when we are away, if you had transportation, coming home, and we're generally not getting back until about 6:30. And the home course coaches kind of set the schedule, so they might do something different than this. I will say, if a team doesn't arrive to the town forest until 3:50 or 4 o'clock because of traffic, we would alternate this schedule. So we're going to send the varsity boys off, and then 2 minutes later we're going to send the JV boys off, and it's just going to be a stagger start. So we have a little bit of flexibility and room for the results between the races, but we're not going to wait. We're not going to run 3 complete races. So it's a little bit of flexibility, but I think you can kind of certainly expect that around 4 o'clock the first race is going to be going off, which will be boys this year. 30 minutes or so afterwards, 35 minutes afterwards, the girls' race would be going off. The next race would be going off. Here is our meet schedule. Again, we are in the Middlesex League Liberty Division, which means we compete against the other large schools in the Middlesex League, which is Winchester, Woburn, Belmont, Lexington, and Arlington. I will email this packet out after the video is shared. We do compete in some Saturday meets, so we do have the Clipper Relays this coming Saturday on 9:10. That's a 2-mile team relay. Every athlete gets in a team of 3 runners, and they run a 2-mile relay through the trails of beautiful Maudsley State Park in Newburyport. Great way to start the season. The kids really enjoy this venue and this event. And that is Saturday. We then have one crossover meet against a small school. That would be Wilmington this year. And then we get into the Liberty Division competition with Winchester, Woburn, Reading, Lexington, Arlington. Generally, we're going to run on Tuesdays, although you will note that there is a kind of a Wednesday meet this year against Winchester, and then a Thursday meet against Woburn. I think that's related to Jewish holidays and other conflicts there. But then we are going to compete in the Twilight meet, which is a Friday evening. I think the kids that are entered in that meet would get dismissed from school about 2 o'clock that day. We'd leave about, it might be more like 1:30 that day. We would leave about 2 o'clock, arrive about 4:30. The first race is scheduled for 6 p.m. And again, it's a privilege to be entered into that meet. We're looking for commitment, effort, attitude. And then there also are time limits and maxes that you have to qualify for. But we would try to get as many runners into that meet as possible. But there's no guarantee, whether you're a freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior, that you'd be entered into that meet. It's just who's been here, who's been committed, who's done the things that the coaches and followed the team expectations in terms of time, commitment, effort, communication, attitude. That's front and center. And then obviously your race times and who's meeting the standard to compete in a large invitational meet like this is what we use as coaches to develop our entries. Then we have the league meet at Woburn Country Club. I will say everyone will run in the league meet as long as you've been committed and you've done everything you've had to do. If you're not, and you're not attending practices and communication is not there, then you wouldn't be on that league meet roster and you would not attend that meet. But generally everyone would attend that meet. That could be the last meet for everyone. And then the meets in November on Saturdays is sort of an invite only. It's kind of varsity plus, meaning the varsity would be entered, maybe some freshmen that have opportunities to run some freshman races, maybe a handful of junior varsity runners that have met some time limits to their 5K, and they would be entered. But it's no guarantee. As we get into these championship meets, certainly on the 11-12, only 7 runners can run at that meet for both boys and girls. And those meets are all going to be in Rentham, about an hour away near Gillette Stadium. And you can click on these. These are all hyperlinked, and you can kind of look at the directions and the course maps and so forth. Here's our schedule, but I just went through it. This is just in a different format, so the schedule is there as well. Here's our course map in the town forest. Again, it's 3-loop course, 5K. All the coaches in the Middlesex League have made an effort to make all the courses a 5K over the last few years. And I think our course, although it is kind of 3 1-mile loops with a little field loop at the end, I think it's one of the better courses in the league, and most teams really enjoy it. So that is our home course. You can look at the map, but it's pretty straightforward. Some other things I want to just jump back to that I may have not quite covered. So again, non-practice day, it's Sundays. I talked a little bit about that. There's no requirement to run. I might recommend some running if we've missed a day that week because of weather. Running shoes, so it's a good idea to have good trainers with cushion and support running sneakers. You can purchase those in a variety of stores, one of which is Marathon Sports in Melrose, which is currently offering a 20% discount. It is recommended, although not required, because I know these things get expensive, to have racing flats, spikes, or shoes. You can purchase those at Marathon Sports as well. These are kind of the rubberized sole that has the ability to put spikes, different size spikes in and out, because we are going to run on grass, on trails, on pavement, on track. There'll be a variety of surfaces we will run. So you want the ability to have spikes on one race and then take the spikes out and run sort of more like a racing flat or a road racing shoe the next race, potentially, if we're going to be on the majority on pavement. The Reading course is 85% trail, so spikes are generally used and recommended. So any questions on that, you can let me know, but Marathon Sports does offer that, and it's a great option. Uniforms and bib numbers. So all the athletes should have a uniform by now. We only get kind of a uniform jersey, top, singlet. The student athletes and runners are asked to wear solid black racing shorts with their uniform. So hopefully they have that. Every athlete soon in the next week or so will get a bib number. That bib will be assigned to them and them only, and they should keep that bib that you pin onto your jersey for the duration of the season. We do have, I do want to jump down to, so to follow the season, these are some helpful cross-country website links. The team has done an excellent job maintaining our RMHS cross-country Shutterfly website. Password is 01867. You can go into that website. You can get photos of, there'll be a great you can actually view pictures of the races. These are pictures from last year. The meet schedule, the captains, once this is updated, this is last year's. Captains' parents kind of take on this management of the site, and they do an excellent job with it each season. So there'll be fundraisers will be posted here when we do some Mandarin nights and Anthony Pizza nights and different things that we might be doing. There'll be an option for some apparel. There'll be some other different helpful information on here once this is kind of updated. Right now, this is still mostly last year's information, but I know the captain's parents are meeting and working on updating this. There'll be opportunities to buy apparel at a Marathon Sports link for some extra money, but you could pick up some extra apparel. I believe the dues that the captain's parents do administer does get you access to the banquet and dinner and awards night, as well as everyone will get kind of an Under Armour kind of dry fit, not an Under Armour, but a dry fit athletic t-shirt from Dynamic Sports. So every athlete will get that, and the captains have done a good job already designing that shirt and hopefully placing that order soon. So that information is there. If you want to follow, this is our team website from off the Reading Memorial High School page. Reading High School has just changed their website like in the last 48 hours, so that link is currently not working, but I'm hopeful that will be working soon again. And there's some helpful information there. This is the Middlesex League XC website where you can get meet results, course maps, other information around the league standings. Everything is kind of housed in this MLXE website link. This is the state coaches website if you want the fall schedule, if you want different information about the state meets that we go, the invitational meets on Saturday, the schedule, results. A lot of it will be posted here on this link. And then you can also follow me at Twitter at ReadingXC for updates. I got to kind of get back to doing more tweets. I've been busy during practices, and this year I haven't tweeted much, but updates, announcements, race highlights, reminders, schedule reminders, cancellations, I may all tweet those out. So if you are following me and you have Twitter, you would get that information, and that would also be helpful at times to you. So we've talked about some of the team websites. We do have a senior day, which is going to be the Arlington meet on October 25th. So that's exciting. The banquet is generally held in December. The last 2 years during COVID, we've done that in the CAF, RMHS CAF. Previously, we did it at St. Agnes Church. Both are good venues, so there'll be more information coming from the captain's parents about the banquet, about dues, about some fundraising that the team's going to be doing this year. We might do a fundraiser this year called Snap Raise. It's kind of a online crowdfunding fundraiser. Everything's optional, although we ask that everyone kind of participates, but there could be more information about a Snap Raise fundraiser to raise money for the team, for items like the banquet, for some uniforms, for some t-shirts, for some other equipment that the team may need. Once every 3 or 4 years, more than the typical kind of like co-venture with some restaurant fundraisers is needed, and Snap Raise is one that is quick and easy, that the team has done, that we may be doing. I think this is the year we may need to do another one. Lastly, if you're interested to just know how to score a cross-country meet, there's a good, helpful information here on this last page of this packet. Basically, cross-country is a team scoring event. It is like golf in a sense, meaning the lowest score wins. And any combination of top 5 finishes that you add up those places that score 27 or below, 27 is kind of the magic number for victory, will win a cross-country meet. The 6th and 7th runners may not count in the adding of your score, but they do displace runners from the opposing team. So ultimately, it does make your competitor's team score higher, so they do count in the scores, and they are important. So as I say, kind of every runner counts, and anyone you can beat over the course of the race will be important. But you can kind of look at that as well. So that, I'm kind of over 22 minutes, so I kind of talked more than I was expecting. But again, I will send this video out. I will send this packet of information out. Hopefully you can view it at your time. It's a little more flexible than doing a in-person meeting or a set meeting at 7 o'clock in the evening. I do want to say thank you to the captain's parents and our 6th grade captains this year, Andrew Abdella, Jack Quinn, Matt Lakin from the boys' side. On the girls' side, Emily Bass, Victoria Bean and Natalie Benassi. They've been doing an excellent job over the course of the last 2 weeks of the season, the first 2 weeks of the season, and I know their parents are ready, and I have all full faith that they've experienced, many of them are experienced, and they're already kind of hitting the ground running to make this season as fun and successful as possible, playing things like pasta parties and fundraisers and team events and organizing a list for water and Gatorade to the meets and all those types of things, which make this season, the experience, a fun and enjoyable season for the athletes. The last thing I'll say is I've been doing this for a long time. Again, I have a great coaching staff and Coach Kate Crosby, who will focus some of her time on with the junior varsity boys, but she'll be helping in all areas, as well as Coach Kaylee Pulowski, who's back for her second year, who will be helping in all areas, but maybe focusing some of her time on the girls' team. We just believe in creating a nice, supportive, positive environment for the kids to learn and get better. We are here to race, so we do compete and practice hard, and our goal is to be a competitive racing team, but we ultimately want every runner to stay injury-free, to work hard. It's a progression from day to day, from week to week. That's why every athlete's time and commitment needs to be there. But I think we very much believe in creating a nice positive environment. And I will say this year we kind of have an acronym that we kind of focus on and recognize athletes for being having more of a less kind of doing more than just kind of the minimum and having an uncommon effort, I will say. And this year we're focusing on team for those athletes that kind of put in the time and teach others, put in the extraordinary effort, come to practice with great positive attitude each and every day, regardless of the circumstances, the weather, and then that show mental toughness. Rise above their feelings, take pride that they can compete and do well in a variety of circumstances, overcome adversity, and all those types of things we're looking for, and we'll be recognizing the athletes for over the course of the season, as well as hopefully some great finishes and times during the races. With that being said, I hope this video was helpful to you, and thank you for your time. Thanks.